When you step across the white stripe, the only thing that matters is that 6 inches between your backbone and your breastbone.
Raise your eyes up. Right above is the next rung. Reach out and grab that rung. Pull yourself. Push your buddy. The next rung is today. Let's go.
You certainly have impacted my life. I mean, I got all the memories right behind me, and I reflect on them every day, and you played a key role in making this happen.
Just want to thank you so much for all the great years you've given to the NFL and personally given to me.
You can. You will. You believe. You believe. You believe.
There's a gleam, men. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
When you walked up to me and said, "Dave Zott, do you love football?" And with whatever energy I had left, I said, yes, coach, I love football.
This is a game of the heart. A game of being a man. Let's go.
Coach, you taught us there was no substitute for preparation. And your favorite saying in the locker room, I always remember in the weight room especially, was the more you sweat in the off season, the less you bleed in season.
Do not underestimate the power of the human will. Go back. Light the ignition. Let's get this rocket ship going up now.
Those 2 little letters, W-E, we. Those 2 little letters, U-S, us. They're powerful. They're powerful. Great job. That's it.
It still resonates in my ear. Every meeting, every sideline, every chat. One play at a time.
Climb a mountain, you take one step at a time. Don't go looking at the top, you end up slipping on your ass. One step at a time, and the only step that's important is the next one. One play at a time, finish everything we got. Yeah!
Marty Schottenheimer resurrected every organization he coached for and left them better off than when he found them. And many of his former players have banded together to reminisce and offer their well wishes to not only this great coach, but a father figure who helped mold each of them into what they are today.
And that's what Coach Marty Schottenheimer was. He was a game changer. He was a lifesaver. And truly, it helped mold me into the person I am today and many of your players. And I just want to say thank you.
I was lucky. I've had some great coaches, Bills Parcells, Dick LeBeau, Tony Dungy, but Marty Schottenheimer was special.
I've had a few coaches in my career, but none, I don't think, that could equal the passion that you took to coaching, your attention to detail.
Whether I failed or succeeded, I knew and I know Marty Schottenheimer had my back.
All right, men, let's go. Let's meet our standard or exceed it.
I like the character of this football team. Because I'll tell you what, guys, when you get your back in a corner and people start looking left and right, all you got to do in this locker room is look at one another.
One play at a time for as long as it takes. Let's build our house. Let's go. Focus and finish. Boat's loaded, men. Let's roll.
Every time you walk out that door to play the game, doesn't matter the arena, you expect to win.
Let's go, everybody up! We know the strength. The strength of this team is this team. We're going to 8-1. Mile marker 9. We started at the beginning with one phrase. Focus, finish. Let's go.
You guys stood tall. You reached down in the inner part of your gut and you did what had to be done. And I want to tell you something, guys. When you do that, there ain't nobody can ever take that away from you, because you did it. And I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
We got our people. Let's light the fuse and kick some ass.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys that stepped up today. I mean, a lot of guys that stepped up big time. It's in the books. Kansas City Chiefs, 11-2. AFC Western. Hold it. Carl's got something.
I'm going to give the first one to the head coach of the team they picked to come in 6th place in a 5-team division. For everybody, man.
You were short on your route. That is a 16-yard route. Okay. You don't stop at the 5-yard line, or I'll put somebody else in the game to score the touchdown.
The thing I remember the most was that he gave each of us a little notebook. You know, whatever you get out of this conversation, you write down in that notebook. And I kept that notebook for a very long time. And I know I have it somewhere today in a box somewhere. But I only wrote down one thing in there, and the thing that stood out to me the most about that conversation was the word preparation. And he said that was a focal point. That was something that everyone needed to learn. But he was so adamant about it, and he hammered it home that was the one thing that stuck out to me. That was Marty's style, is being prepared.
Coach, I had the great fortune and opportunity to play for you in 92 and 93. We went to the AFC Championship game. Every meeting we'd come into, you'd know about the special teams. You paid attention to the defense. You paid attention to the offense, what we were doing. You were a coach of just detail. That's what you paid attention to, and I so respected and appreciated that.
Coach Marty, this is Randall Godfrey. I just want to say thank you for all you've done for not only myself, but every player you ever coached. It's truly an experience of a lifetime when you can have your head coach being a former linebacker in the NFL, sit in meetings with you occasionally and give you all kind of helpful tips. So I'm very thankful.
He benched me 3 times, but there were times where I needed that. That was part of my growth.
If this was a one-score game, your ass would be out there, but I'm not putting you at risk in this situation. You hear me?
I was still his guy, and I felt that all the way through, so I love him for that.
Let's go, Breezy!
And that carried over to 2004 when we had one of our better seasons.
In 1990 in Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer called me and said, "Kid, get in your car, be safe, don't get in an accident. Congratulations, you are going to be a Chief. Let's get ready to play the Browns on Sunday." In 2001, when I was a free agent, at midnight, I got a phone call, woke me up, and at the other end of the line, I heard, "Kid, this is Coach Schottenheimer. I'm the new coach of the Washington Redskins, and you're going to be my punter." This was 8 years after I was his punter in Kansas City. So, Marty, you hold a special place in my heart. You gave me my first opportunity, and you gave me a second opportunity, and who would have known it would have all added up to 16 years. But thank you. God bless, and God bless the rest of the Schottenheimer family.
Marty Schottenheimer, my man, gave me my first opportunity to start in the National Football League. But you gave me much more. You gave me the type of support that a father would give. You cared for me. You taught me. You gave me some foundational skills, some things that I still live by today. That's what a coach does. That's what you mean to me. A father. You're a father of mine. A man that stood in the gap for Ernest Biner through all the times, good and difficult.
You obviously believed in me before I believed in myself, because I did not think I could play in the NFL. And I appreciate the patience. I appreciate the times you came in there and talked to me in the weight room when I was all by myself. It was just Redmond and I was always rehabbing, and just the little things you said. And you said, "Hey, you're going to get your shot. You're going to get your shot." I did get cut. If you remember, I did get cut. But you said, "Hold up, kid. I'm going to get you on this team. Stay tight. Don't go anywhere. Give me 2 weeks." And I remember going back to my apartment. My wife, Raina, who was just pregnant, and we didn't have much money, and I called you after the second week on a Friday, and I said, "Marty, hey, I got to get a job. I got to do something. My wife is pregnant. I don't have any money." He said, "Kid, hold up. I'm going to get you on this team." And sure enough, come Monday, you called me, you welcomed me to the team. I played that following week, and the rest is history. And I go on to have a 9-year career. And I can't stress how much I appreciate just the belief you had in me and really giving me a fair opportunity, not looking at me as a little guy, thought, okay, he's too small to play in the NFL. You one time said, you play with big heart, kid. You play with big heart. And I certainly tried to do that.
Keep grinding. Keep grinding. You're fighting your ass off. Keep grinding on them. We'll wear them down. Let's go. Let's wear them out. We are going to have to go one more series. We got to go one more series. It's going to be a 4-down series. And we got to get in them and get out. So let's go.
We are scrimmaging against the New Orleans Saints. And it was the year that Ditka was down there, and you're a Pittsburgh guy, as you know, and Ditka was a Pittsburgh guy. But you and Ditka were like two gunslingers on a dusty, deserted, western street, staring at each other, waiting for somebody to flinch, because practice was the longest, most brutal practice I think I've ever went through. And the periods seemed like hours. We never changed fields. We never changed the period. And it was like you and Mike were looking at each other like, who's going to flinch first? What coach is going to call this practice first? And I remember like yesterday, I came to the conclusion that I'm either going to die today on the field or I'm going to make it through this practice, but I'm not quitting. And it was one of those entering manhood type of events for me because it was rough. There was times when the offense, and we had great defenses in Kansas City, great defenses, great players, but there was times when the offense would be having a good day against them, and it would burn you and chap you like nothing other. And there were times you would start practice over, because we'd be doing real well in 9-on-7 or in a team period, and we'd start from the what do you mean, coach? Start the beginning of the period? Start at stretch. Start the whole practice over. And I remember when I was a little older and our relationship had built, and I was, a more established player. I remember shouting one time, Marty, because we're kicking the defense's ass, right? Is that why we're starting over? What happens when defense is getting after us? Shut up, Zot. We'd go back and forth a little bit, which was the beauty of the relationship, and those teams we were on are outstanding teams. So I want to thank you. I remember the first meeting we ever had when I got drafted, and I barely knew if the ball was stuffed or pumped, and bring me into Kansas City, and you brought me down in a meeting and set me up in your office, brought me to your office, and you said, Dave Zott's not where you start in this league, it's where you finish. And because of you brought the best out of me, and I was able to have the career I did have. I never would have accomplished what I accomplished. I never would have been the player I was. I would never have tapped into the toughness and the grit that I was able to tap into, I had to tap into through your mentoring. And I appreciate that. For you and Pat, I know every husband's going to have a greater wife, and she's been fantastic to you and with you. So for you, Pat, I appreciate all you've done through the years. You've been a fantastic model of a coach's wife and support, and God bless you in that. And now even more so, your significant other needs you, as you know.
I was blessed and privileged to play for Marty Schottenheimer for 4 years. This guy was just one of the toughest coaches, but had the biggest heart. Marty always said on my grave and on my tombstone, I want 40 and 50 power. He was a coach that you knew that you were one thing, you were going to be physical, you were going to be tough, you were not going to quit, because he wanted tough guys to play on his team. That's just who he was. Marty, we all love you. You've touched so many lives. You've touched so many families.
Look at me, Derek. You got to forget it. If you don't forget it, it'll gnaw at you. It'll take away your ability to do what you need to do in the overtime. And know what I'm talking about, okay?
I always said that the best form of flattery is imitation. And as you can see, I'm out here coaching, and I remember many times you talking about doing the right things, doing the little things, grabbing Oren Rowe, all those great things that you told us. And
being able to pass that down to my children who have the opportunity. I have one son now playing football at Notre Dame, and having a daughter who's swimming competitively, NCAA swimming at Notre Dame also. Giving them some of the life lessons that you taught me has been just an invaluable thing for me, Coach.
Hey, I remember watching Marty Schottenheimer at the old rock pile in Buffalo when I was a young man growing up, watching those Buffalo Bills in my seat, section 23, row 13, seat 3, in those 65 to 70 years when you were a linebacker with the Buffalo Bills. I think I even saw 1 or 2 interceptions along the way, Coach. But, yeah, I remember the good old days you was a player, and the year I spent in Kansas City with you as a head coach was certainly one of the best years of my life, not only as a football player but as a person. No one does it like Marty Schottenheimer, and one play at a time. It certainly resonated with me, and that's how we approach everything, one day at a time.
I'll never forget, Coach, showing up on minicamp day after the draft in 1991, and there you were handing us notebooks with our names emblazoned on the front and telling us that anything that anybody ever said was always worth writing down. Coach, they're lessons I tell students that I've coached, co-workers that I've worked with, and especially my 3 daughters. They're lessons that I've been sharing with them their whole life.
I lost my father, when I was 20 years old, and that was a big deal for me. I was very close to my father, so to have a coach that was able to teach me things on the field as well as give me those things that a dad kind of gives to a son. I'll take that with me for the rest of my life, and I pass that type of thing on to my kids. So I'm wishing the best for Marty, and I just want to make sure that he knows how much I appreciate my time with him.
That preparation lesson that Marty kind of hammered home, lasts with me throughout my entire playing career and coaching career, and I share it with kids now because it just doesn't apply to football. Being someone that coaches high school football, there's a lot more responsibility than just winning games, and you have to give the kids a lesson. They have to walk away with something other than just X's and O's and how to tackle and block. And preparation applies to everything in life.
One of the biggest things is I don't know if you remember, but there was a run, I think it was against Oakland, and it was a short yardage situation, and I was fighting to get that 1 yard or that extra inch. And you used to have the 6 plays where you would show us on Monday the game changers, and that was one of the plays. And you turned the lights on, and you were like, "Listen, this is what this team is about: fighting for every inch that you can get, fighting for it." And that resonated with me, and I carry that story in my heart. I tell the guys that all the time that I'm mentoring now. And Big Pat, the boss lady, we love you. We thank you for giving us an opportunity to use your husband and allow him to mentor and witness and minister into our lives. And just to let you know, I know behind every great man is a strong woman. And we want to say thank you to you as well for everything that you've done and all the recognition that you've given us and the time and efforts that you've poured into us as well. Brian, man, listen, I remember you were a young pup running around, getting socks and all that stuff. Now you're big time, bro. Your father left a great legacy, and you're following well into his footsteps, and you're doing the same thing, man. I just want to say hats off to you guys. We love the whole Schottenheimer family, and we want to say thank you again.
I consider you one of the more impressive motivators I've ever been around. I can reflect on the many times where you said something before a game, during a game, after a game, where you motivated and inspired us to dig a little deeper and do more, give more, and be more. One play at a time. And how about this one? If it's important to you, you'll find a way to get it done. And then I always love, men, the system works. You just got to trust me. The system works. And then my favorite one, and I still have the t-shirt. Check it out. Take care of the little things. So these sayings, I use them every day. My kids have heard them. I use them in my presentations. But again, I just want to let you know you're a huge inspiration to me. You made a huge impact on my life. And I want to thank you. I want to thank your family.
It's been a great journey. I'm very proud of what we were able to do in our coaching career.
My fondest memories of Coach Marty Schottenheimer, my very first NFL coach, are just his speeches and his passion for the game of football and for his players. I was honored to be one of those players. He's such a sensitive man, such a caring, giving family man, and that just spilled on to the players. I mean, we really felt like a family, and Marty made us feel that way.
Coach, how you doing? This is Lake Dawson. I just wanted to stop by and tell you thank you. Man, thank you for drafting me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to pursue my dreams. When I left the University of Notre Dame, I felt I left one of the best coaches that I could possibly have in Lou Holtz. He cared about me. He wanted me to be a good man, wanted me to be a good football player. Little did I know that when I came to Kansas City, you would exemplify some of those same traits. You cared about me. You showed it through deed. You showed it through action. And you even showed it through tears on a weekly basis sometimes. And I was mesmerized by it. And to this day, I carry some of those same traits. I pass them on to my children. And I have you to thank for that. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to pursue my dreams. Thank you for being a good coach. I appreciate you. I love you, Coach Schottenheimer.
I kept kind of thinking about this one overriding theme that you were about. And it was the fact that you were emotional, that you showed your love for the game. So many coaches out there over the years are stoic and standoffish. Then they kind of stand back and just watch coldly. There was nothing cold about you. We knew when you were upset, and we knew when you were happy. And we tried to make you happy most of the time. The key is you loved football like I loved football, and like so many guys loved football. And that was the perfect situation for us, and we loved you because of it.
If you lived in Kansas City during the 1990s, you know the winning spirit and undying devotion that followed from the unrivaled fan base, a sea of red that intimidated opponents into submission. Though the Chiefs under Marty Schottenheimer never achieved the ultimate goal of a Super Bowl championship, they live on as the winningest franchise of the 1990s. And a culture was created that still lives on today. Marty totally redefined the culture for football here in Kansas City. He took over a losing team, and immediately the Kansas City Chiefs became competitive and then reeled off 6 straight consecutive playoff seasons, making Kansas City one of the top 5 NFL cities. And that's really where you saw Arrowhead become the magical place that it's known for. The decibel level inside the stadium, the sea of red, it really took hold during the Marty Schottenheimer era, and it got to the point where teams just could not come in here and win. You think about games like the Buffalo Bills in '93 coming in and just getting absolutely obliterated by Kansas City. Teams seemed to, the Chiefs had an air of confidence about them when they played at Arrowhead, and Marty really brought that to Kansas City. And when Marty said things like, "This is a game of the heart," that really stood out to me because the game has always meant more to me than just the physical battles on the field. It is a game of the heart. It means so many things to so many different people, and clearly the game means a lot to Marty. It's personal for him. His attention to detail, the things that he sees in each and every play and player, and how he wants to help each position and each player succeed. It really stands out, and it's really something that I think sets Marty apart when it comes to NFL head coaches. You have to understand, when Marty came here, his touch, his attention to detail, his passion for the game turned Kansas City into one of the best football cities in America. He made Arrowhead Stadium 80,000 people rocking every Sunday. It wasn't like that before Marty showed up, and it's been like that ever since. It's something I think Kansas City owes a debt of gratitude to the culture that Marty instilled into this city. We still feel it today.
Marty, I just want to personally thank you. I wouldn't be making this film or doing all that I am in the sports world if it wasn't for you. Those Chiefs teams in the 90s with you at the helm is what made me a sports fan and what I am today. Other than my own birthday, one date that I will never forget is October 17th, 1994. The Chiefs go into Mile High, where you and Joe Montana had never won.
But this has been the haunted house for Marty, with Cleveland and with Kansas City 0-6 during the regular year, 0-1 in the playoffs, and Joe, as we mentioned before, 0-3 here. Twice with San Fran and once as a Chief.
I remember watching that game with my two older brothers in my room, parents next door screaming at us after halftime, "Turn off the game, it's a school night, you kids have to get to bed." It was not going to happen. We just turned the volume down a little bit, as kids do, thinking they'll never notice then. Then late in the game, it looks like the Broncos have the game won. John Elway runs the ball in, spikes it in the end zone, but there's a penalty flag. People are wondering what's going on. I remember there's a split screen of you and Wade Phillips. The Broncos only had 10 players on the field. Wade saying, "We had 7 on the line, 7 on the line." You're over there, illegal procedure. But no, the touchdown's allowed with only a little over a minute left. And you're thinking the game's over, but not when you have Joe Montana at the helm. Leads you guys down the field, hits Willie Davis in the front corner of the end zone. He double taps it in, and you guys win the game. Unbelievable, the greatest game that I've ever seen as a Chiefs fan.
He puts Walker in motion. He throws to the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown by Davis. Willie Davis, unbelievable.
Effort by Willie Davis. Lord, you can take me now. I've seen it all.
And who could forget those playoff games against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Houston Oilers in 1993?
Fourth and goal. Back to pass Montana. Cocks his arm. Looks right. No one there. Looks left. Throws in the end zone. Touchdown! The quarterback with the Hollywood name has done it again.
And then the Oilers, a team favored to win the Super Bowl.
Double tight ends, handoff. Marcus over the middle. First down, 120, 6, 8, 15, 10. 5, touchdown! Gotta love this game. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
After receiving the videos from your former players, we realize more than ever that you're so much more than just another coach. You are a game changer, on and off the field, and a father figure for young men who desperately needed one at that time in their lives. And they were lucky to find the perfect coach at the perfect time. That's you, Marty. Maybe in the record books, you're not a champion on paper, but you're a champion in these players' hearts. And as they pass your lessons onto their children, you have had and will have a bigger effect on people's lives and this world, cementing your legacy far beyond the game of football.
And I just want you to know we're thinking about you. We're thinking about you, and keep your head up. And as you say, don't take it one play at a time. Just take it one day at a time. And no matter what, just always remember, stay positive. Thanks, Coach. Much love.
It was just an honor to play for you, Coach. You were the perfect coach at the perfect time.
And he loved his players. He treated everyone like they were special. He made you feel like you're the only person that mattered.
Coach Marty, Bernie Kosar here. Words can't describe the influence and effect that you've had on me, not only just in football, but as a person, as a man. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate you being yourself, treating me, giving me the gift and the honor to run your huddle. I love you, Coach.
Today I'm wearing my Hall of Fame shirt, as you can see, because I had a Hall of Fame coach. Thank you. I love you.
When you think about a person who has given his life to other people, it's Marty Schottenheimer.
So Marty, I just appreciate you, appreciate the Schottenheimer family and what it's meant to my life. And Coach, where you started and what you've been able to accomplish, you probably never could have dreamed or imagined. And my hat's off to you. God bless.
Coach, I wish you the very best. Hope everyone's doing great. I'm thinking about you a lot. Love you, man.
And we're all better for knowing you, Coach. We're all better for the lessons that you taught us.
On behalf of all of the fans of the teams that you coached, we thank you, we love you, we're thinking about you, and we're praying for you, Marty.
I guess I'd leave you with this, just everyone grab an oar and row.
I'm praying for you, Marty. Thank you for being a great role model in my life, and I take the words that you have said to us, and I transfer them to my kids and use them throughout life.
You're a great individual. You've transformed a lot of guys' lives. You're special in a lot of guys' heart, and I'm just so thankful that the Lord allowed me to have an opportunity to spend the time with you that I did.
Thank you for what you are to me and what you were to me. I love you.
Touchdown to win the game! James Hasty! Now they say 54 yards on the spot. It's up.